Well, here I am in Phoenix, Arizona. It's been a long, long trip getting here. Right now it is, let me just see, where are we? 7 o'clock at night. So I arrived here at about 10:30 this morning, and it took 28 hours from the time I got in my taxi to get to the airport in Auckland, to fly to Brisbane, to wait and then fly to LAX, to wait and then fly to Phoenix, and to get to the hotel. It's about 28 hours, which is a long time, and it feels like a long time, but to put it in perspective, you got to realise that Annette and I last year walked 100k, which in terms of k's doesn't even come close, and that took us 29 hours. We're going to do it faster this year, but 29 hours. So, you know, I was shattered when I got here. I came and had the longest shower I've had in a long time, and just had a nap for a few hours. So I've been out, I've had dinner and a beer with at a local restaurant, Mexican restaurant. Fantastic food, the Rockin' Taco. And it was very interesting actually, because it just shows the whole entrepreneurial thing over in the States here. The guys bought the bar and had a smaller restaurant there for 11 years. He's just bought it, Tony, and he's refurbished it. He's knocked out 2 businesses that were next to each other, so it's one bigger place. And he's just starting to get into the business side of it. It was interesting too, because I came here, I thought, right, after I'd had my nap, I want to get a Mexican food. Authentic Mexican food in this part of the world, so I definitely want to do that. So I looked for a Mexican restaurant on Google Maps, and Adriana's. So I go down, I'm walking along, and there's Rockin' Taco. I was like, oh, that's not Adriana's, but it's a Mexican place, I'll go there. And that was the old name. So he hasn't changed it on Google Places. And in fact, when I talked to Tony, he'd never even heard of Google Places, or wasn't really sure what it was all about. So I'm going to pop back tomorrow and give him a DVD that I've got that explains how to change things and that, because he was very welcoming. My first friend in Phoenix. So definitely I'll catch up with him tomorrow, and he's promised me a good feed tomorrow night too. So that's really cool. So I just wanted to do this real quick check-in just to say that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, when you have the basis of how to put a business together, where you spend your money and how you prioritise that when you're starting off, or at any stage of the business, because the priorities shift for what stage you're at. If you know those things, if you know the basics of marketing, if you know the basics of marketing online, you can be anywhere. So the information that I gave Tony today was the same information effectively that I've given to people in New Zealand. And in fact, we were talking about the restaurant. He's done a great job on the inside, but on the outside it doesn't look so flashy. And he said, you know, he's looking at doing that. But he also said, oh, I really dislike the floor. Now, I will clip in a little video, hopefully on this clip, that I took with my phone, so it's not very good quality or anything, of the bar. It's a great looking bar, you know, very Mexican Americana type bar, lots of neon and that sort of thing. And he said, oh, I'm really unhappy with the floor, I've got to clean the floor up. And I said, Tony, don't waste your time with the floor. You've got so much visual stuff that you can see. I never noticed the floor until you mentioned it. And it wasn't that bad comparatively. Forget the floor. Spend your money on getting the outside painted so people can come into the bar, and then when you got money flowing in, that's when you can look at the floor. He's worried about the floor. Now this is something that you need to think about. He is worried about the floor because he stands behind the bar all day, and that's what he sees. He sees the floor. So it's his concern. I, on the other hand, came in for the first time in my life, obviously, and I see what I see, and I see all the bright lights, all the, he's got TVs behind the bar, ESPN and the political channel and stuff like that, so we're watching that. I sat at the bar and I was there a few hours before we had that conversation, a couple of hours anyway, and I never noticed the flaw. So it's really important. What do you do in your business where you say, oh, we must focus on this, we must fix this, and what have you, where perhaps that's just your interpretation because you're sitting there looking at it every day. Perhaps you need to look through the customer's eyes. How would you do that? Maybe you just want to engage in the conversation if your business works with that. Obviously it's easy in a bar or a restaurant situation to engage in the conversations. Some businesses aren't so easy. If it's not easy to engage with a conversation, perhaps a more formal survey type thing, or even a follow-up phone call. Just say, hey, we're trying to do a few things, really appreciate it if you'd give me a bit of feedback. What did you think about this company? What did you think about the presentation of the business? What did you think about the presentation of the people? Because obviously I'm very much aware on this trip about those sorts of things, and I always downplayed the presentation of people a little bit in my mind in the past. I thought personality outweighs it. However, coming to this hotel, the woman that checked me in, great. She was really nice, and she knew her stuff. Unfortunately, didn't know what was happening with the event that we've got here coming on, and she couldn't find it, so I'm still going to sort that out. But her shirt had a few stains on it and things like that, and it's amazing the difference in feeling that it gets. I thought that this was a much more pricier hotel than it appeared to be when I got there because of a few little things like that. That was one thing that took my notice, but there was a few other things that a little bit more subliminal. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it's just like, yeah, no, this is a tear down in terms of the hotels I'm used to. Not saying anything bad. This is a great room that I'm in here. I'm enjoying this, and you know, of course, I haven't even started the conference. That doesn't start till the day after tomorrow. I came in so that I've got tomorrow to recuperate after my 28 hours to get here. Anyway, that's me checking off. I don't want to waste any more of your time. What I do want you to do though is think about what I've said. What is it in your business that you keep focusing on, which perhaps isn't because you're focusing on it, not your customers? And what do you think they might have focused on that you haven't even thought about? All right, till next time. Take care.